Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It's Thursday night, and that means only one thing. It's time for the ANZCAR trucks. We are here for the Thunder, and we are getting ready for round number 6 of the season. We are here at Richmond Raceway tonight. At a very, very warm track, 43-degree track temperature, 23-degree air temperature. This short track is surely going to bring up some chaos for these drivers tonight. Keep yourselves switched on for all of tonight's action for the Neuropower ANZCAR trucks. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with the up here in the commentary booth, all on my lonesome at the moment. We will be joined by Mark Johansson in just a couple of minutes when he gets himself back and ready to go.
I'm here.
So, we are getting ready for the race tonight. We're looking at 150 laps here tonight. A very, very long race it's going to be for these drivers. Just getting themselves into rhythm is going to be a key feature on this track. Richmond is always a place that takes maximum concentration and can easily catch you out. As you can see from the drone shot, from the blimp shot, it is a very, very short track indeed. We are just about to go to the gridding up. We did just have a championship standings just prior to this, just as we're getting everything ready. We'll quickly go through the top 5. It's Lachlan Urquio in the lead with 6 points ahead of Riley Curtis. Jason Martin sits third, 11 points off the leader. 15 points down is Joshua Carroll-Walden with Chris Finlay in 5th, 29 points down. Cars are starting to head to the grid, starting to line themselves up. Let us get on with this and get the grid set up for tonight's race. And starting from pole position, it is Andrew Dyson up in the lead with Barry Neal on his outside. As we scroll over to the next page, it's Lachlan Urquio with Jason Martin on row number 2. Row number 3 sees a DPR lockout with returning Ryan Jones with Stevie Dubb. Row number 4 is Riley Curtis with Kate Donnelly. Row 5, we've got Josh Micklemore. He's going to hope his luck is going to change for the better tonight with Shane Bowen. Row number 6, we've got Gary Wellman and Troy Davidson. It's Ben Vickers with returning Scott Lefebvre in row number 7. Mr. Matty Hunter and Wesley Closey on row number 8. Row 9 is Brad Fenley with Norman Clark. And rounding out the field tonight is the number 13. It is Hamish Gallagher. Expect to see that truck working its way through the field quick, smart. And we are now joined by a Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. And you? I think you must have me muted.
Let me set you in a little bit, but not hearing them on my end. So, pace cars getting ready to start the race. The lights are out, and we are going to be going live very, very shortly indeed. So, we'll get back 2 laps here of pacing up to get the cars in order as they come around to start lining up here and getting ready for the start of tonight's race. Pace car will be peeling in very, very shortly indeed. Once we find the field, there we go. As they're going to come round, pace car should be peeling in very shortly now, and we should be getting ready to go green. Pace car pulls in, and we are about to go green here at Richmond for round 6 of the ANZCAR Trucks 2024. Away we go. And and we are off, and there's a DPR car just getting into the wall there. I think it was Stevie Dubb just giving the wall a little bit of a rub, and that's dropped him down the order a tiny bit as they continue on through the lap. But it's Barry Neal, who had a lightning start, managed to get himself up into the lead with Jason Martin up just behind him.
Are you there, Carl?
So we're looking at Neil, Martin, Dyson, Urquio, Curtis at the moment with some good battling going on a bit further down the field. Riley Curtis fighting it out with Josh Micklemore at the moment. Hopefully that has fixed my audio issues.
Yeah, copy you, Carl. If you can hear me now, Carl.
Yes, there we go. Loud and clear.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just running a little bit late from a meeting, but we're here now at Richmond. And look at this lead. Barry Neal has got over the field, Carl. He's really a master here at Richmond. But the other person to keep an eye on is Lockie. He actually loves Richmond, so be mindful of him to come through the field. Sitting there in third place at the moment in front of Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, he is on an absolute roll at the moment. He is really getting on with this truck, and well, he's been having some fantastic results recently. Really coming along well for Lachlan Urquio, so it's good to see indeed.
Just looking at the weather forecast, and there's definitely no rain around here today. It's nice and hot out there.
Yeah, it's a little bit warm on the track. I mentioned that in the early stages, and it is very, very warm out on that track, about 40 odd degrees Celsius. So it is going to be a bit of a punishing race for those tyres tonight for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We should see about 80 laps of fuel tonight out of a tank. So, or if not a little bit more, just depending on how they run, and the tyres may not last the tank out. But we'll wait and have to see. And 150 laps around here, it's going to be grueling tonight.
It is indeed to see Josh Micklemore just getting past just past Lachlan Urquio. Josh Micklemore is one of those drivers that will go well here as well at Richmond. He is very good on this track. Looking back a little bit, Andrew Dyson, he's just eased off the pace a little bit. I wonder if we're going to see him coming back later on in the stint mark.
Yeah, we've seen Dyson in the last couple of weeks just take it easy in the first stages. And that second stage, he really comes back like towards the end of the stint, and that second stage of the race are really strong. But further back, we've got another DPR car getting passed by Ryan Jones, being passed by Gary Wellman. Gary's not known for his short track experience, but he's definitely having a good crack here at Ryan Jones. Too wide there behind Jones in Troy Davidson and Ben Vickers. Ben's not had a great season so far, but he's looking to turn that around tonight. Hamish Gallagher there, we can see in the Taylor Swift Kansas City Chiefs number 13. He's looking to move forward, and behind that is Stephen Williams. Just looking through the field further, everyone's now settled in. Matt Hunter there having a great run also.
Yeah, down 15th position at the moment, and just keeping that truck going along in a smooth fashion. Ben Vickers just getting a little bit loose on the exit there as well. And look, this is the stage where temperature can start to come up and start to play some troubles. So we'll keep an eye through the field, because the trucks are going to start getting a little bit twitchy, I reckon, as this race goes on. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, well, Barry Neal has got a monster lead at the moment.
Yeah, just looking at that, 1.6 seconds over Jason Martin, and then another further second back, almost to Josh Mickelmore. But you've seen these Mitch boys, when they get together, you can't count them out. Lachlan now down in the fourth. I think he's just saving tyres there. He's not pushing. He's sitting in behind Mickelmore. So it'll be interesting seeing Dyson drop back now into the clutches of Riley Curtis. So some good racing again, Carl, between the whole right through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing some great stuff here tonight, as usual. And look, everybody's doing a good job so far, keeping their trucks out of trouble, keeping themselves in a good position, and keeping themselves relatively safe in these early stages. And that's an important thing to do here at Richmond. You've got to get yourself into the rhythm quite early on.
Yeah, definitely got to get a rhythm. This is more of a flow track. Some braking being used here tonight too, just to help rotate the trucks into the turns. You don't see a lot of it on a lot of tracks. That's more so on these smaller tracks. Under the mile track, we see a little bit of brake application. We can see here Dyson having a great battle. This is a battle for now for 6th through to 10th. So stick with these pictures at the moment. We see some great battling. Gary Wellman now coming up on the back there, trying to put some pressure down. Ryan Jones and Gallagher having a battle there. Looks like Jones has got the better. Gallagher's got the better of that. Troy Davidson now looking to put a move on the back on Jones on the number 11 DPR car. Back up the front though, we've got Lachlan Urquio now returning the favour of the pressure on Mickelmore. He's now back up on the back of that truck of Mickelmore. So this will be one we'll have to keep an eye on. So the battle here is still going strong between Dyson, Donnelly and Bowen, and Wellman hasn't dropped off too far, but he gets a little bit loose there. Closing in on these positions is Gallagher. We knew he'd come through strong in the latest part of this stage. We now have 25 laps on these tyres, so people are now starting to really settle into their rhythm and get the race under control.
Yeah.
And we know these trucks will get loose in the rear end as the fuel load wears down, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. And we're just seeing it there with Cade Donnelly. The back end is really stepping out on that number 40 at the moment, as it just fishtails a little bit going in a straight line. So he's struggling to get the power down, and that tells me that he's got a bit too much temperature in those rear tyres, and that is causing some major issues there for the number 40 Sinboy entry. let's just quickly jump on board with Cade, get a bit of an idea of what this looks like on the inside, because this thing is looking like a little bit of a handful at the moment. And just watch the steering angle, watch the hands on the left hand side of the screen, just having to counter steer a little bit. He's really having to be tentative on that accelerator as well. You know, you've just got to be so cautious in these stages not to put your foot down too quickly, because it is so easy to light up those rears and find yourself pointing towards a wall.
Yeah, most certainly is, Carl. It's definitely not what you want this early in the race. You know, only 30 laps into a 150 lap race. Definitely don't want to have any damage. Although we know that here it's not really aero dependent, I should say. But you still definitely don't want to be having any damage to those front wheels or anything.
No, absolutely. If you get a little bit of scrape here and there and damage the aerodynamics of the truck, not too bad. But if you damage the suspension geometry, you are going to be in so much trouble. And again, you see Donnelly just sliding out the corner there, doing a great job of controlling the truck. But it is looking like an absolute handful, and I'm sure he's sitting there going, yeah, caution wouldn't be too bad right now. Give me a chance to actually get these tyres back to a slightly cooler life cycle and get maybe a fresh set on the truck, as we see Hamish Gallagher now passing Gary Wellman, moving up into 9th position. So plenty of battles going on throughout the field at the moment, and we are seeing some good racing here tonight. Shane Bowen now looking to line up Kay Donnelly, so they're all starting to close up again. Those drivers that were going a little bit easier at the start of the stint are now coming good, and they're starting to put those drivers that went a little bit harder under pressure.
Yeah, and that's I think that's what we're going to see all night tonight, is anyone that looks after those tyres will come back strong towards the end of the stint. But in saying that, Barry Neal's gap has dropped down to 1.3 seconds now over Martin. So Martin has just taken it easy, a little bit easier, and he's been able to close that gap ever so slightly.
Yeah, you can see here as Barry Neal goes through, then Jason Martin, that gap is visibly closing, and Josh Micklemore, Lockie Urquio are looking to close it in as well, as the battle continues down there, as Bowen and Donnelly are side by side at the moment. Kay Donnelly running a slightly higher line. He's going to try and pinch Shane Bowen down low, try and force him to take that tighter line, and that's going to hurt the tyres a little bit. That's going to heat them up a little bit there. Donnelly's doing some good defensive driving, but it's going to slow both of them down, and it is costing them time. So this is where, if you get some good defensive driving going on, you can start to build a start to make a gap in front of you that's hard to close in for those cars behind.
Yeah, definitely. And just as we went back to the lead, Donnelly got really loose, so his rear tyres are definitely shot. But as you said, Carl, he's doing a great job to keeping it straight at the moment, driving it very straight. But this has also now opened up the gap for Gallagher to get down the inside. And we know he's I think he's a 3-time ANZCAR truck champion. So he definitely knows how to drive these short tracks.
Yeah, you put Hamish in an Xfinity or a truck, he is well. You put Hamish in anything and he's good, but he is incredibly good in the truck, the Xfinity car. He is just absolutely on it in those things, and tonight he's proving it. Up a whole heap of positions in this race, starting from the back. He's worked his way through the field nicely, moved himself up towards the middle pack, and he's trying now to get past Donnelly, but Donnelly's still driving that nice defensive line. Can he hold Hamish Gallagher off? Can Hamish get the move done? We're going to find out in just a couple of short moments. Gallagher just able to make that low line work, and if you can get that one working well, it can really help you. But look at the drive. Donnelly's getting off the corner. He's able to run that high line, and you can see there Hamish having to pull out there. He's had to just abort the attack a little bit, and then gather it up to go in for another round on Kay Donnelly. So this is a fantastic little battle here for 7th and 8th place. And don't discount Shane Bowen from this too.
Yeah, definitely not. We've seen him show some good stints of speed, but unfortunately, the last couple of races have just been mixed up with some unlucky incidents. But we can also see why these three are battling. Wellman and Jones is starting to close back up on them.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see those guys start to close the gap a little bit. I feel like they're in tyre conservation mode. But it's, as a much better commentator than I once said, catching is one thing, passing is another. And right now, Hamish Gallagher's just got the move done. It's taken him a couple of laps. But he's finally got past Kay Donnelly and got himself up into 7th position. And he's going to hope that he can now close that gap on Andrew Dyson. About a 2-second gap between Dyson and Gallagher at the moment.
And the battle behind them between Wellman and Jones is actually starting to heat up again too. Too wide there. Jones is on that low line.
Jump back and lots of battles going on throughout the field at the moment, so some good stuff coming to you on here Performance e-streaming for the Neuropower ANZCAR Truck Series. A big thank you to Neuropower, big shout out to them as well. They've just got their website up and running, of course, helping people with neurological issues and people who are just a little bit worse off, to help them get a bit better lifestyle, get some fun at times, and also help them with mobility issues and other little things that you take for granted in your daily life. So head on over to Neuropower and give them a little bit of love for sure.
Back up the front, Carl, we've got that gap now down between Martin and Neil down to under a second, so that gap is definitely closing. Martin has looked after those tyres a little bit better and can close in on that Toyota of Neil.
Yeah, that gap is closing. We're on lap 47 at the moment of 150, so we're starting to get a fair amount of distance into this race, and we've not had any moments on track so far, and that is great to see. 15 seconds covering the field at the moment from Barry Neal down to Brad Fenley, down at the back at the moment in the VV entry. He's trying to chase down Scott Lefebvre, who is coming back for some injury with Ben Vickers and Matty Hunter. So some battles throughout the field at the moment, plenty of action. And speaking of action, we've got Ryan Jones passing Gary Wellman there, and this fight is still going on. And up in front of them, Kay Donnelly and Shane Bowen are still battling it out on track as well.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I knew...
Oh! That is a huge save from Gary Wellman.
I was just going to say, Gary won't take that pass lying down. He'll definitely try and come back at Jones, and I think he just pushed that little bit too much. He overstepped the mark.
There's the replay just there. That was a lucky save indeed.
Looks like Jones has gone out early, but he's been able to pull those tyres down enough now that he can start to come back at these guys in front of him that have passed him. We can see him now closing up on Donnelly and
Bowen.
I was on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, as Kay Donnelly just gets a little bit squirrely across the the tri-overly section, the front not straight. Just managed to collect it up in time, but that really cost him a bit of time. Now he's trying to go on the attack as Ryan Jones goes on the attack as well. So he's defending, attacking, he's doing everything in that car at the moment, but Shane Bowen has managed to get past. down the inside goes Ryan Jones. Can he get that pass done? We've seen that Kay Donnelly's been quite good up on that high line, able to get that power down, but it looks like that little slide has just cost him, and Ryan Jones just slides up in front of him, gets himself on the high line now ahead of Kay Donnelly. Donnelly's going to come back at him, but does he have enough tyre life for that attack to work? Doesn't look like it at the moment as they get through. Meanwhile, up the front, this is for 4th and 5th position. Bit of a repeat from last time, Mark. It's Lachlan Urquhart and Andrew Dyson battling it out on track. Dyson's just got his way past and moved himself up into 4th position. Now we have the championship leaders just on track with each other of Lachlan Urquhart and Riley Curtis.
Like you can just see there, Lockie's truck just stepped out ever so slightly on him. So definitely those tyres have seen better days. And you can see that by Dyson being able to pull away, open the gap a little bit there. And we said that earlier in the broadcast that Dyson would be sitting back there just looking after those tyres, looking at getting the rear end of the stint strong. But back up the front, Carl, we're down now to a half a second gap between Neil and Martin. So Martin definitely closing in on these on Barry Neal.
He is indeed, and I'm just sort of trying to keep an eye on what line Barry is taking. He's always going to take a low line. He does not like riding a high line in any track or any car. He always likes to try and run a slightly lower line, and something I tend to share with him. But he's a little bit quicker at doing it than myself, Mark. Which might surprise you, I'm sure. But he is absolutely making it work at the moment. But Martin is putting him under pressure. The gap now down to 0.2 of a second. Will Martin be able to pass? That's the next big question, because we've seen it can be quite tricky to get that overtake done tonight. So we'll see how that runs out, see who can actually make that one work, because it is looking a little bit tricky to get the passes done at least.
Yeah, and not that far up in front of him is Brad Fenley. So unfortunately for Brad, he won't be long before he'll probably end up going a lap down, and we've just got to watch and see how he plays into this battle. But you can see here now, Martin all over the back of Neil, looking at trying to switch lines. He'll be trying to get Barry to stay up on that high line so he can get a dive down on the inside. Barry's too smart for that. We can see Barry come back down just inside that low lane marker, and he back up out to the fence and then back down through that low lane again.
Richmond is such a tricky track to master. Of course, it is a very short track to be running on with these very high-powered vehicles, but there is so many little tips and tricks that you can learn, little things that can make a big difference on a track like this, and this is where the fast guys really can shine on short track racing.
Yeah, definitely. And the tracks are not even it's only 0.75 of a mile long, so it's definitely a tough little track.
Speaking of passing, Hamish Gallagher getting past Lachlan Urquhart there, and that is for 5th position. So Gallagher on the move, Dyson starting to catch up to this man, Josh Micklemore, and then we have the battle for the lead here between Martin and Neil. Which one of these trucks will take it? And we're starting to get close to the lap traffic too, so we are going to have that coming into the mix in no time, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm just keeping an eye on Benley and Lefborough, and they are having a battle there. So for that whole previous lap, they were too wide around the track. So again, they go out to too wide. So it's going to be interesting how these two play into this battle.
Absolutely, they're entitled to run their own race as well. They are racing on the track, and they're not even a lap down yet. There's no blue flags on an oval race It is up to the leaders to find their way past you when they're coming to lap you, and well, it's looking like it's going to be a tricky job indeed, because those two are fighting hard here as Barry Neal's just catching up, and this could be the opportunity Martin needs to pounce for the lead.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking to myself, why isn't DD out here? Then I realised, someone into the wall then.
Scott Lefebvre up into the wall, and that is going to put an end to that little battle, and that is exactly what Barry Neal wanted to see, I'm sure, just to give him that opportunity to get past these two nice and quick, stop them fighting.
Yeah, as I was saying, I was just wondering why DD wasn't out here tonight. I've just realised that the Broncos are playing, so he's chosen the football.
Disgraceful stuff.
At
least he's watching us as well. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, you know,
yeah,
we can kind of forgive him a little bit.
No, I can't forgive him for going for the Broncos, so... Anyway, we're back to the racing, and this battle is still up for grabs between Neil and Martin. Mickelmore now's caught up to that lap traffic, and he's just trying to get his way through. He's been able to get through Lefebvre, and now he's will come up on the Brad Fenley. Brad won't give him too much grief now that he realises the lead cut trucks are up there on him.
And if you want to get an idea of how close these guys are getting to each other, just saw from the gearbox of Barry Neal just how close that was, sitting right here on the left rear suspension. Again, look at how close Martin's getting, but Neal is positioning that car nicely. If you look in the background, you see a white and reddish car as well, just behind the blue car at the top of the screen, and that's Andrew Dyson. So he's closing in on Josh Mickelmore. Mickelmore's closing in on Jason Martin, and Barry Neal at the moment is leading this race and keeping himself in exactly the right position. Martin taking a shallower line into the corner. He's trying a couple of different lines right here, seeing if he can take advantage of a slightly different position to see if he can get a run on Barry Neal, but it's not quite working at the moment. So this is where the experience comes into play, and well, we have got a very experienced top five at the moment. Neal, Martin, Mickelmore, Dyson, Gallagher. Then sitting just outside, we've got Urquio, Curtis, Jones, Bowen, Williams. The top 10 at the moment. Some absolute flying drivers. Riley Curtis is bringing it into the lane. So we've got our first pit stop happening in Riley Curtis, Mark.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the battle at the front again here. We've got those leaders now coming up on the back of Norman Clark and Ben Vickers. Just heard Norman do the polite thing and talk to the other spotters, and they've called both of those drivers through. So great sportsmanship there by Clark.
Absolutely, and look, Norman's one of those drivers that will keep an eye on the leaders and make it as nice and easy for them to get past so he doesn't lose too much time. Troy Davidson pulling it into the lane as well. So we've got first pit stops happening here on 75. So pretty much bang on that half race distance. And look, if it goes green from here, they're going to get an advantage with those fresh tyres. They're going to run a little bit quicker, but then the drivers that come in later will have the advantage later on in the race. So it's all a bit of a game of chicken now. How long do you leave? How long do you stay out? Do you come in a little bit earlier to cover people off? Do you come in a little bit later so you've got a fast truck at the end? Or do you stick it out just hoping for a caution?
Well, if you feel confident in your truck still, like I'm sure these guys at the front are, you'd be wanting to stay out there and run that tank dry. So you just have to wait and see where these five get to in the stint. I believe it should be about another 10 laps, and we should see him in. But as we've as we've had before, Carl, we've been lied to by our little spies too. So it's just a playing and wait game.
Yes, absolutely. Drivers don't like to give things away. They like to keep us guessing up here in the booth. Make sure that we are on our toes as well. The battle behind is getting close as well between Micklemore and Dyson. So that fight is going to start heating up soon. Another driver on the move is Ryan Jones. He's just got past Lachlan Urquio, as we see Brad Finley and Scott Lefebvre both coming into the lane. So plenty of battles going on throughout the track at the moment. We'll keep our eyes up towards the front of the field, but this is where a caution could easily come out as well, Mark, because we've got cars that are now multiple laps down but on very fresh tyres. They're going to have great speed. They're going to want to get past the leaders, who are themselves fighting with drivers who are just going down a lap now, who are themselves fighting for position. So it gets really, really messy really, really quickly here, as we see Troy Davidson looking to move his way up past Andrew Dyson. He's got Kate Donnelly behind him. They're both on fresh tyres, remember, so they're going to want to try and clear these two trucks as quick as possible. But these two trucks are battling for position as well.
Yeah, definitely. And what you've got to also watch now is that these guys that are on that lead lap, when are they going to come in the pit lane? They've got to try and get these trucks are either around them or slide in behind them or stay in front of them, so they've got a clear entry in the pit lane.
Yeah, you do not want to be stuck up on the high side and run out of fuel because you can't get down low. If you get a big group of cars, that can really, really cause some issues. Ben Vickers and Gary Wellman both into the lane this time round as well. Up the front, we still got Barry Neal in the lead with Jason Martin. So there's still plenty of action happening on track. The Micklemore and Dyson fight is still going on as well. And you see there, Martin just lifting off a little bit. He knows those two Sim boys are going to be faster. So he's going to tuck himself just behind them. They're going to go down the inside now. And you can see Jason Martin's trying to take advantage of that to try and pounce on Barry Neal. But Barry Neal is a wise racing driver. And he's not going to let that happen too easily.
Definitely not. The third and fourth is still hotly contested. Dyson's just dropped off her back a little bit. It's still within half a second though.
Martin's pitting. So the first of the lead cars to come in is Jason Martin. So he has decided to pull it into pit lane. How long does Barry Neal stick it out now? How long do the rest of the leaders stick it out? This is going to be the crucial thing. Barry Neal pulls it in this time round as well. Into the lane he goes. Tricky entry here, but he just gets it slowed down in the nick of time. Gets it into the lane. Josh Micklemore now takes the lead of the race. We've got Hamish Gallagher in the lane as well as Norman Clark. Plenty of pit stops happening now throughout the field. And this is going to be crucial. Jason Martin just exiting the lane now. We'll jump back to our race leader as he jumps it into the box. He's going to go up on the right side. And will he go up on the left side? He does indeed. So all four tyres taken. And he is going to be heading back out there now. Meanwhile, up at the front, we've had a change for the lead. It is Andrew Dyson. He's managed to get past Josh Micklemore and move himself up into the lead. And both these cars now pulling into the lane.
I think Micklemore wanted to come in the lap before, but he was balked by Dyson getting underneath him. So, and that's what we said earlier. You got to be careful on getting balked and getting stuck on that high line. So, and nevertheless, they're both in the lane now, and just keep an eye on Micklemore.
This is that replay, and absolutely, Mark, you called it absolutely right there. He just got a little bit balked, and that really hurt him. Ryan Jones in the lead of the race now, and as they come out, it is Dyson back in front. Meanwhile, Jason Martin, he is ahead of Barry Neal. So that's 1 lap earlier stop has jumped Jason Martin ahead of Barry Neal. In front of them is Riley Curtis, the first truck to stop. So Riley Curtis is the effective race leader. We've still got Matty Hunter out there yet to make a stop. Ryan Jones is just coming into the lane. Lachlan Urquio now will take the lead of the race. So we've got a few long runners out there. And Lockie Urquio's just got to be careful here because he's again caught up on that high line. And he's going to be wanting to try and get down into the lane soon, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. If not for fuel, definitely for tyres, because it's now 91 laps on that set of tyres.
How long will he stick it out for? Matt Hunter pulls it into the lane, I believe. No, he stayed out there as well. So, effective race leader here is Urquio, and drifting that car through turn 4 there. Had a little note pop up, but no, it doesn't seem to be an issue. So Urquio's going to stick it out for a lot longer here, so he's going to have fresher tyres to the end and possibly just banking on a caution right now.
Yeah, a lot of the field now has been through pit lane. Only Matt Hunter and Lachlan Urquio are the only two trucks that haven't come down pit lane. So the chances of a caution now are starting to get a little slim. Although we do know that guys are trying to get back through and unlap themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of different strategies going on now throughout the field, and a lot of different speeds going on throughout with different trucks. We've got the battle for the effective race lead going on between Martin and Neil, as Urquio pulls it into the lane. So effective race lead, the race leader now will go to Mr. Matty Hunter, who will take the lead here and get himself a bonus point as well. Nice to see the very, very pretty truck there of Matty Hunter up in the lead of the race. And a caution now would be very nice indeed for Matty Hunter, because that would give him a free pit stop. But he has got Jason Martin and Barry Neal closing in very quickly on him.
And what he wants is just as they go to pass him or get very close, he would love a caution.
We see Lachlan Urquio now just exiting the lane, and he is a lap down, but he will get back on the lead lap, I imagine, very, very quickly here. So he's just managed to get himself back into this race, so that is some good news for him. Meanwhile, Matty Hunter, Jason Martin, Barry Neal go sailing past, and into the lead they go. And Matty Hunter now will be pondering coming in for a stop, I'm sure, soon, but sticking out there for a little bit longer just in case that caution flag does fall.
What Matty needs to do is get himself down on that low line, so he can make the pit entry. And as you say that, in he comes.
In he comes indeed, just giving the wall a little kiss just to say hello to it. But he brings it into the lane. We've got a good battle shaping up here. Riley Curtis, Hamish Gallagher, as Hamish Gallagher sails through past Riley Curtis. The first truck to stop, of course, Riley Curtis. He gained a lot of positions with that, but now he's starting to feel it as he's on those older tyres, and those guys on the fresh tyres will come sailing past. This is the thing for Lachlan Urquio. He's dropped down to 14th position now. He has lost a lot of spots, but now he's on the fresh tyres. He should be able to gain a lot of time. So importantly, he's on the lead lap. So that's crucial for him if we do get a caution. But he should have the freshest tyres of anybody out there, and should find himself moving up the field nice and quick as Andrew Dyson gets past Riley Curtis, and the fight continues throughout the field. But up the front, it is a slight reversal of fortune as Jason Martin leads Barry Neal here for the race, as we're on lap 102 of 150.
And you see just in the background too, that red truck of Hamish Gallagher closing in. There's a 2.5 second gap back to him, but we know what Hamish can do, and it won't be long before I'd say he'll close in on the back of these two, of Martin and Neil.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be closing that gap, well, trying to close that gap down, but well, Martin and Neil are no slouches at the moment. They are flying out there. Remember, they stayed out. They sort of all came in and relatively close together as well. So probably the car that's on the freshest tyres is Andrew Dyson. He's done about 4 less laps than Jason Martin. So he's going to be wanting to use those fresh tyres to his advantage. A little bit further back, we've got Josh Micklemore getting underneath Riley Curtis at the moment, moving up ahead of the A1 Sim Sports driver. Big congratulations to A1 Sim Sports for taking out the championship in the Monday series with the modifieds. It was Double D Dave Douglas taking out the championship just ahead of that man Riley Curtis. So a 1-2 in the championship for those two. A very, very good season for them both.
Now, here's one thing interesting. Jason Martin last lap, 23.3. Barry Neal, 23.4. Hamish Gallagher at 23.3. Andrew Dyson at 23.2. And Josh Micklemore at 23.4. But if you jump back down and look at Lachlan Urquio, 23.1.
Yeah, he's got that tyre offset that he can take advantage of, and he is now using that to his advantage as he's getting past Wesley Closey. But he's got to overtake all of these cars, so he's not made it easy for himself right here. Up in front of him is Shane Bowen, Troy Davidson, Stevie Dubb. So he's got to sail past these cars, and every time you pass one of these cars, you take a slightly different line, you end up using a little bit more tyre life. So it's sort of, it can sometimes come into pain a little bit as you take some of the best life out of those tyres and leave yourself sort of on equal footing to everybody around you, despite having the freshest tyres of anybody.
Yeah, and you can see there, a very different line, as you said, Carl. Every lap, he's got to change his lane. See, last time by, he was right down on that yellow line. This time he's about a car width of offered. He's using the more conventional. Again, he's had to dive down underneath Stevie Dubb and right on that pole line. And that's going to be not only working the rear tyres, but it's going to be working that right front.
Yeah, that's it. It sort of it can end up causing heat issues as well, and we know it is very hot out there still. So that could come back to bite Equio. As Cade Donnelly has had a big off. Let's just jump back to the replay here. Find out what happened to the 40. But importantly, it did not bring out a caution mark.
No, I was just looking at it. I think he just lost the rear end. Yep, there it goes.
Ooh, heavy impact, but no caution flag, and that's good for some, not good for others. So up the front, it's sort of stable at about 0.5 of a second. There's not too many battles sort of shaping up at the moment up at the front of the field, but down here for 8th, 9th and 10th, this is where it is really heating up. We've got Gary Wellman and Lachlan Urquio fighting it out. Brad Fenley, who is a lap down in front of them, and they are really fighting hard at the moment. Stevie Dubb and Troy Davidson Stevie Dubb and Shane Bowen fighting just behind as well. So plenty of battles going on throughout the pack at the moment in what has been a very, very clean race here at Richmond, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. You, you, we again we've been spoiled for action right throughout the field, and it continues on here. We still got 13 trucks on the lead lap. Um, Ben Vickers will be hoping for a caution. That'll see him back, promoted back onto the lead lap as he's in the lucky dogs position at the moment. But again, we've still got a very strong tops 10 really when you look at it. Martin, Neal, Gallagher, Dyson, Mickelmore, Curtis, Jones, Wellman, and Urquhart and Stevie Dubb rounds out the top 10. So realistically, if we see a little bit of a mix-up with these lap cars and see a caution, it is going to be a great race to the end of this 150 lapper here at Richmond.
Absolutely, as we saw Urquhart just getting past Gary Wellman there. Never an easy feat, but he's managed to do it and move himself up into 8th. Next on his list is going to be Ryan Jones, but a good second or so to catch up to that car. Ryan Jones is currently sort of all on his own at the moment. Riley Curtis out there at the moment in 6th position with those slightly older tyres. Remember, he came in at that half distance and got himself up some good positions, and now everybody's starting to plateau a little bit. It's looking like it was a pretty good decision.
Yeah, definitely was a good decision from him. But we now see the gap out the front from Martin to Neal almost out to a second. So it looks like that Chevrolet is looking after those tyres in this second stint a little bit better than the Toyota.
Yeah, and Jason Martin is a hard person to pass, so he's managed to get that car up into the lead with that 1 lap earlier stop, and he's taking advantage of it at the moment. Hamish Gallagher, in the meanwhile, is looking in his mirrors and seeing Andrew Dyson closing in at a steady rate of knots, about half a second between these two cars as well. So, again, not overly close, but they are fighting hard for position. A good battle going on at the moment is this one with Gary Wellman, Stevie Dubb and Shane Bowen, with Wesley Closey in there as well. 4-way battle at the moment, and this is to try and secure himself a top 10 position. 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th position covered by barely anything at the moment.
Yeah, and really Bowen will want to be trying to get himself up into that top 10. Championship wise.
Absolutely, could do with a nice points haul here tonight. And a driver that's just going to be hoping for some decent points tonight is this man, Josh Mickelmore. He's not had the easiest of seasons. He's had quite a few unlucky moments, unfortunately, but tonight sitting in 5th position. A solid spot at the moment for the Mitch Motorsport driver, as he can see up in front of him. Andrew Dyson's chasing down his teammate Hamish Gallagher at the moment, who is in turn trying to chase down Barry Neal, and then it will be the march to see if they can actually catch up to Jason Martin. They've only got 25 laps to do it though. We are very quickly drawing to the end of tonight's race.
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, Martin's come out and really showing Barry that he can do what he can do. So it's a bit of a turnaround. Barry just hasn't been able to stay with Martin coming out, with Martin coming out just in front of him. He's been able to put that gap out now to 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, he's setting some good laps at the moment and getting himself into some good positions. And just looking through, and well, they're coming up to the back of Troy Davidson here with Barry Neal and Hamish Gallagher, and this group has closed up very, very quickly indeed. Less than a second covering these 3 trucks at the moment for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. And, well, what a big group of names of Australian oval racing we got there. Barry Neal, Hamish Gallagher and Andrew Dyson. All three of these guys are very, very good on a short track condition. This should bring us some good fireworks, I'd say.
Definitely will. But the way that Hamish is closed, but as you said earlier, it's one thing closing, another thing to get past them. And Barry will make that truck very wide as he just comes back down to the back straight and touches the wall out of turn 2.
Jump up to the blimp camp here and get a bit of an idea of how it is looking. Get to see the different lines they're taking as well. You can see just in the background, Dyson's taking a slightly higher line to the two in front of them, trying to get a little bit of a better exit off the corner. And now Hamish Gallagher runs up a little bit higher too. They're all trying to choose a different line, seeing who can get the better run off it. And at the moment it's Hamish Gallagher gets a great run down the inside. He goes up into second place, and he almost made that look too easy, Mark.
Way too easy for the battling that we've had. I think Barry's tyres are just seen the better part of life, and as we can see now, Dyson now really closing in on the back of the 22 truck, and it looks like he's going to do this fairly easy also.
They are absolutely side by side, barely fit a apple between those two trucks at the moment. There is not much room as they are racing each other here, driving at, well, decent speeds as well. That's the whole thing, you know, you're getting up to some decent top ends, 220, 240 sort of kilometres per hour range, and when you're side by side like that, all it takes is one little lapse of concentration and you can have a big accident.
Yeah, and we can see there both Dyson and Neil touched the wall there, coming out of turn 2. So it's tyres have definitely seen the better part of their life. We've just under 15 to go. It's going to be interesting. Although Dyson now is closing back up on the back of Gallagher. Unfortunately for Neil, I think he'll see his race out in 4th place, unless we have a bit of an incident, and we may see these guys duck down pit lane to take a fresh set of rubber for a great sprint race.
Yeah, that's it. Anything can happen in motorsport, and it usually does, as we've got possibly an incident with Scott Febra and maybe Norman Clark. Let's just jump back to the replays here and see what's happened to Scotty Lefebvre here, and try and get an idea of what's going on through the field. Maybe it just had a little bit of a moment, as just zoom forwards a little bit, see if we can find out exactly what's happened. Not seeing anything too severe at the moment. I think it may have just been the my incident counter just saying that something happened when it didn't. So we see what's happened to Norman Clark, and I think he's just getting out the way of some lapped cars maybe, or he's had a little bit of a moment. No, it looks like a bit of a moment because he's battling those cars, so not sure what happened there to Norman Clark, but just had a little bit of a moment, possibly some kind of little technical issue there for Norman Clark, but they're all pounding around the track. The only car we've lost so far is Cade Donnelly from this race. Everybody else is still out there racing around this Richmond circuit.
Yeah, definitely, and that gap between Gallagher and Dyson has closed up just ever so slightly. So again, we see Dyson being able to look after those tyres and really bring it on. But with 10 laps to go, he's got to definitely make a move now, or he's going to get stuck there.
Yeah, it's now go time indeed. A little bit further down the field, Riley Curtis and Ryan Jones battling it out for position, and they've got Lachlan Urquio for company. Urquio has managed to use those fresher tyres to his advantage to get himself up through the field. His tyres are some 15 laps fresher than those of Riley Curtis, so he has got a fair bit, a little bit more grip on those tyres, you've got to say. But he's had to do a lot of work to get himself up into that position, and now he has to battle it out with these cars, Ryan Jones, Riley Curtis, and see if he can get himself in front of them.
Just keeping an eye on this battle up front again. It's now under half a second between Gallagher and Dyson. Still a second out to Martin. As I say that, it just clicked over. It's now down under a second. But we've 7 laps to go. It's I think it's Martin's race to lose.
Yeah, Martin's sitting in the prime position at the moment. We're seeing a great defensive drive coming from Riley Curtis at the moment on those older tyres. He just gets a little bit loose, just has to lift off there for Lachlan Urquio, and that just happened at the wrong time. That gave Ryan Jones the chance to move up into 6th position, and here we have the 2 championship leaders at the moment fighting it out for 7th and 8th position. Riley Curtis will dearly love to hold this spot, see if he can get himself up ahead of Lockie and get a couple of extra points on the board for that championship as they head into the Easter break.
Yeah, definitely. Lockie's definitely trying to work him over, and that's given that has given Lockie the incentive to get past with Curtis up, just touching the wall.
Just that little moment, that car stepped out a little bit, ran wide, clipped the wall, and that just lost the momentum for Riley Curtis, giving the position to the 42 of Lachlan Urquio. Can he get himself up any other positions in this race? Well, he's only got 5 laps to do it. Meanwhile, up at the front, this fight is starting to heat up between Gallagher and Dyson. Who will come off better there? They've only got 4 laps to go because Jason Martin has got a, well, not a commanding lead, but he has got a healthy lead at the moment.
Yeah, it's still out over half a second between Gallagher and Martin, but this battle here we'll definitely see Dyson and Gallagher really battle hard up these last 3 laps. As we say that, you can see now Dyson right up under that tail wing of Gallagher.
Really close stuff at the moment, but look, there are 2 very hard drivers to pass in ANZCAR. One of them is Hamish Gallagher, the other is Andrew Dyson. So this is the immovable object meeting the impossible force. It is very much going to be a tough battle to get going. Meanwhile though, Jason Martin is going to come across the line and get himself 1 lap closer to the finish of the race as the white flag flies here tonight. Next flag will finish it as we see the cars coming along straight, and it is going to be this man, Jason Martin, is going to take the victory here tonight as the checkered flag flies. It's Jason Martin taking the win ahead of Hamish Gallagher and Andrew Dyson.
Again tonight, Carl, another great race. Battles right throughout the field. And we've seen Barry Neal show his dominance early. But Martin, as after that green flag pit stop, I've been able to come out and show that he's no little duckling to be played with either.
Absolutely, Jason Martin has got a number of wins in the series for a reason. He is very quick and one of the hardest trucks out there to beat. And he proves it once again here at Richmond, taking the victory. doing some celebratory burnouts as well. Well deserved. Burn it down, Jason Martin, and congratulations on a fantastic victory indeed. He is going to be stoked with that, I'm sure. And look, everybody should give themselves a pat on the back for tonight's race as we went green flag from start to finish at Richmond, Mark.
Yeah, it's not very often you see that in any league. So hats off to everyone that's out there tonight on some great racing. Respect shown by guys going laps down, and they were still able to have their own little battles between themselves. But some great racing from everyone out there tonight.
Absolutely.
And we see the motor go bang.
The traditional engine popping means an end to the donuts. You don't need that engine for next week, Jason Martin. You may as well use it up here tonight. Congratulations on the victory. Let us run through the finishing order for tonight's race. Taking victory, Jason Martin for Mitch Motorsport. And Mitch Motorsport 1-2 with Hamish Gallagher in second. DPR come home third with Andrew Dyson. It's Aotearoa Aurora Racing with Barry Neal in fourth. Josh Micklemore comes home in fifth. Good night for Mitch Motorsport indeed. Ryan Jones comes home sixth for DPR. It's Lockie Urquhart for SRM coming home importantly ahead of Riley Curtis for A1 Sim Sports. The championship battle will close in after that for sure. Micklemore is going to have a few more points in his bank as well, but Urquhart should maintain the lead after tonight's action. Riley Curtis comes home 8th, 9th for Gary Wellman, and Stevie Dubb brings it home inside the top 10. As we roll over the page, it's Shane Bowen in 11th position with Wesley Closey in 12th, 13th for Troy Davidson. Matty Hunter managed to work his way up into 14th position after that late stop, ahead of Ben Vickers in 15th, Norman Clark in 16th spot, Brad Fenley in 17th, 18th for Scott Lefebvre, 19th place for Kay Donnelly. After taking the only incident in the race, and not bringing out the caution.
Yeah, it's unusual. He not the caution there. He was far enough off the track that it didn't need one, and he was able to tow very quickly. So well done to him from not bringing out a caution tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff. And look, 150 green flag laps here tonight. A fantastic job indeed from everybody. We saw 6 lead changes and 6 separate leaders as well tonight. So we had a few changes up there, but mainly just due to those pit stops. So a few people bagging a couple of bonus points here tonight. Fastest lap goes to Barry Neal. Not a surprise in those early stages. He set that on lap number 3. Absolutely on fire out there tonight, Barry Neal, but just lost out a little bit coming towards the end of the race.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. As I said, I think he just went out a bit too hard after Martin on that fresh set of tyres, that second set, and used the best of them. We're just waiting on our drivers to come up to the green room. Give them another couple of minutes. So next week, Carl, we've got a week off from everything, so that's a nice little break for us, and then back to Martinsville. That's going to be another tough little track and a tough race.
Yeah, absolutely. Off to Martinsville, and that's always a tricky track to run on, and can bring us some interesting results sometimes. It's a fantastic track to race on though, but I must say I'm looking forward to getting a night off as well next week. Gives us a little bit of a break. Of course, if you are interested in some driving, there's going to be the little Easter Cup going on the weekend for ANZCAR, and that's going to be running the
SRX.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Thank you, Mark. Read my mind. So if you fancy getting a bit of a run, make sure to jump into those. But we look like we might have some people in the green room, and we can get started with some interviews.
Well, first off, we've got our third place man up, the pilot of the 41 DPR Simrigs car, Welcome to the booth, Andrew, and congratulations on third place tonight, mate.
Thanks, man. Back again, number 3 again. So not bad, not bad.
Mate, you got to be happy though. Up here in the booth, Carl and I were just saying we're going to have to start getting a little table and chairs for some of you blokes, and a glass of wine after the race.
Gee, a glass of wine would be nice, and I'd definitely smash it down. That's for sure. I don't want a glass of red. It's good stuff.
Mate, tough little track. Seen you had some great battles there through the mid race, and got on top of some of them, but you just didn't quite have enough for Mr. Gallagher there tonight.
Yeah, I think I pitted at the wrong time, which is pretty much my own fault. So I noticed everyone, like, after they pitted, were going so fast, they were going so far ahead. I thought, oh no, I've done a mischief here. And sure enough, when I came out of the pits, everyone was miles ahead of me. So there wasn't much I could do about it other than just try and fight back. But it's pitted at the wrong time, so it kind of cost me pretty dearly. But I mean, at the end of the day, I finished third, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, you can't complain about that, mate. One day we're going to have a talk, and I'm going to have to find out how you save your tyres, because you always seem at the back of each stint you come on stronger and stronger. But as you said tonight, you kind of sort of think you stopped at the wrong time, but you still had to close those front guys down.
Yeah, of course. I mean, catching one person's one thing, and getting past them is another. Especially when you haven't got a whole lot of overlap as far as tyre life goes. So it's not really much you can do about it. And plus, in that last stint there wasn't really. It wouldn't have really mattered too much because we were all going like what I felt like was as fast as we could, and we pretty much all would have been in the same boat by the end of those last few laps there. So. Not much you can do about it. You just have to try and wiggle your way up to somebody, or try and wiggle your way around or up the inside of someone. So, not much. Yeah, you just gotta try and work it out.
Yeah, just looking back over the times, everyone's best time tonight was in the 22, around the 22.5s, 22.4s, 22.5, 22.6. So some great speed from all of you guys out the front tonight, and great to see the race go 150 laps without caution.
Well, I reckon we nearly had one though. I saw a car on the back straight. I saw that.
Yeah, he was very quick to tow, so well done to him for not bringing out the caution tonight.
Yeah, it was good. Well done.
Well, mate, again, congratulations on third place. Before we let you go, shout out to sponsors and supporters.
Thanks, man. I'll say thanks to everyone at ANZCAR put on the league and put on these races, and you guys for yelling at cars, doing the broadcast, all the rest of it. All the sponsors that get behind the league. Good congrats to Jason, Hamish, all the other guys that raced tonight. Thanks for the bit of fun. And big dippers at DPR, get around those boys. And shouts to simrings.com, Phoenix Smokers. Actually, Phoenix Smokers doesn't exist anymore, so RIP, Phoenix Smokers. And shouts to South Wales Listen Host.
All right, mate. Well, again, thanks for your time tonight. Thanks for turning up. Week off next week, then off to Martinsville. Another little tough track.
Yeah, I thought Martinsville was tonight. I think you told me some porkies last
week. I got confused.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We'll see how we go. If I can roll up, I'll be there as usual.
All right, mate. Well, again, congratulations and great racing tonight.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
Second place man is our number 13 car, our Taylor Swift and Kansas City Chiefs flavoured car. Hamish, welcome to the booth and congratulations on second place tonight.
Sorry, Mark. What car was that? Just want to repeat.
Yeah, I won't be repeating it.
Just wind up.
No, it's all good, mate. You might as well have a wind up because it won't happen again.
Yeah, you'll be on the first plane over here, Mark.
Yeah, mate. Got to be happy tonight. Started from the rear of the field. Made it hard for yourself, but you managed to drive through the field with no incidents, and some great racing had by the Mitch boys there tonight.
Yeah, no, shout out to everybody tonight. That was really good, clean, fun racing. So no silly stuff. So yeah, they made it good fun to start in the back and to see what we can do. I knew this truck, like ever since iRacing updated the oval stuff, it's been really low grip. So I knew tyre saving was going to be a big role tonight. So we just sort of hung back and see what happened, and yeah, it paid off. We had a good fun race.
Yeah, we've seen in the last couple of weeks where as the fuel load gets low in these trucks, they tend to step out a little bit more than before, as you said before the update. It definitely makes for thrilling racing when we see you guys coming out of the turns, drifting the trucks.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun than the old snowplow push truck setups we used to have. So yeah, no, you can definitely lean on the right rear, and you can slide a lot more. A lot of the boys obviously wore the tyres out a wee bit, and like Lockie, and I think he was drifting the entire track towards the end of that first stint when I was following him. That was good fun to watch. But yeah, no, it was fun, even though you sort of feel like you're racing on marshmallows because these things got so little grip. So it was yeah.
Yeah, definitely a great race for you tonight. We're off to week off next week, then off to Martinsville, another little short bull ring. Another favourite track of yours, or?
Yeah, I do. I might end up running. Not sure what I'm going to run. I'm probably going to look at running that 87s Talladega. I think that Ed's got set up for the special event, so I might turn up for that. Probably be my next race. Yeah, no, it's been good fun to jump in tonight and just chill out and have a good fun race. Enjoyed it.
Well, mate, we'll let Jason do all the hard work, but shout out to your personal sponsors and supporters, mate.
Yep, yeah, just big thanks to ANZCAR for putting the races on, and you two for doing the broadcast. Thanks a lot.
No worries, mate. Well, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations again on second place. And we'll see you next time out that you make it.
Yes, thanks, mate.
No worries. Thank you. And of course, we'll bring up the pilot of the Mitch Motorsports, number 21. He'd be happy that I wasn't sitting alongside him tonight or trying to push him. Jason Martin, welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations on a great race win tonight.
Oh, thanks, mate. About time I got another win. I've been up near the front in a few races, and my crew chief has made some stupid calls and told me, stay out. There's going to be another yellow.
I told you to get rid of him. I'd come do it for you.
Yep, well, I got rid of him last week, and it worked straight away.
Well, mate, it's a great race tonight. 150 laps of green flag racing around here at Richmond. You didn't seem to hold on to Barry in that first stint, but you when you was able to get the pits, your service done, and get back out in front of him, you definitely showed him a clean set of heels.
Yeah, that first run, once I passed Dyson and noticed him dropping back real quick, I thought, hang on a second here, there must be heaps of tyre wear or something, because he's saving big time. So I took my time and dropped off Barry a bit to try and save the tyres, and I caught him later in the run, but I just couldn't make the pass because the tyres were just so hot and slippery. If I tried to put the power down, I was going to spin out. So, yeah, I'd wanted to pit a lap or two before him, and it worked.
Yeah, definitely seen some of the trucks step sideways later in the stints. And those boys that came in early definitely struggled towards that second end of that second stint. But you guys obviously did the right thing and picked the right time, and you were able to come away with the race win.
Yeah, I thought Hamish and Daiso were going to get me at the end there, but I just hung on long enough and made it to the end in front.
Yeah, that's all you got to do, mate. All you got to do is lead that last one where you get that black and white flag waving at you.
Yep.
Off to week off next week, then off to Martinsville. A love or hate relationship there, Jason.
I had some good results and I had some terrible results. So
it seems like all us oval drivers have had some good and bad results there.
yeah, it's a decent track if it stays green, but the trouble is it doesn't happen very often.
No, definitely not. Well, mate, we've got to make you do all the hard work and shout out the sponsors and supporters. So off you go.
Yeah, well done to Hamish tonight. Good to see the Mitch Motorsports get some good results again. Our sponsor, Leppy Motorsports Concepts. And of course, you guys for putting on the broadcast. And yeah, thanks for all the drivers in ANZCAR as well.
No worries, mate. Well, again, congratulations on the race win here at Richmond And we'll definitely see you at Martinsville. At Martinsville.
Yep.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for your time and congratulations again on the race win.
Cheers, mate.
Well, there you have it, Carl. Another great race. 150 laps around here. It's just unbelievable. Green flag all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff from everybody tonight to keep it green. It's not easy to do, and from what the drivers were saying as well, that heat was really affecting those rears. These things can be a bit of a handful because they don't have too much weight over the rear axle, so it is very, very easy to loop it around and find yourself into a wall heavily, like we saw with Kate Donnelly, but that just didn't bring out the caution, which was so good to see as well. Very well done for everybody for getting a clean race out there. Well, we are done and dusted for the week here at Performance E Streaming, but not quite done and dusted for you, Mark, over on Checkered Flag E Streaming for the Aussie Outlaws.
Yeah, Aussie Outlaws this week. Head to Bristol. 500 laps around Bristol. I'll tell you what, Carl, I'm glad I'm not driving. You and I will be up in the booth over on Checkered Flag. But it's going to be a tough race. And the points are very close. I think our points are like the top 5 are separated by 4 points. So another great race to come this week.
Absolutely, plenty of action to come, and as we said, week off next week, but we will have the 87s on the weekend, so the Easter, we look forward to having that, and of course Easter on this weekend, so plenty of action for ANZCAR itself, but we get a little bit of a break, which is always nice in the broadcast booth. So a big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight. A big thank you, of course, to Mr. Mark Johansson, and from myself, Carl Wilkinson, with you. We're going to wish you a very good night indeed, and we will see you back in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, this is us out and over and done with.